truth universally acknowledged that a single man in possession of a good fortune must be in want of a wife. However little known the feelings or views of such a man may be on his first entering a neighborhood, this truth is so well fixed in the minds of the surrounding families that he is considered the rightful property of someone or other of their daughters. "My dear Mr. Bennet," said his lady to him one day, "have you heard that Netherfield Park is let at last?" Mr. Bennet replied that he had not. "But it is," returned she, "for Miss Long has just been here, and she told me all about it." Mr. Bennet made no answer. "Do you not want to know who has taken it?" cried his wife impatiently. "You want to tell me, and I have no objection to hearing it." This was invitation enough. "Why, my dear, you must know. Miss Long says that Netherfield is taken by a young man of large fortune from the north of England, that he came down on Monday in a chaise and four to see the place, and was so much delighted with it that he agreed with Mr. Morris immediately that he is to take possession before Michaelmas, and some of his servants are to be in the house by the end of next week." "What is his name, though?" "Bingley." "Is he married or single?" "Oh, single, my dear, to be sure. A single man of large fortune. 4 or 5 thousand a year. What a fine thing for our girls!" "How so? How can it affect them?" "My dear Mr. Bennet," replied his wife, "how can you be so tiresome? You must know that I'm thinking of his marrying one of them." Before we move on, I would like you guys to hit a pause and please subscribe to the channel. It's free of cost and you can always change your mind. And guess what a way to start the BookTube journey yet again with an extract from a very new genre. A novel of manners. A very rebellious story. And it's me, Prithvish Chandala, the co-founder of BookTube, back after a long time. I hope you are up to date with the socials. The links will be up on your screen and the video description as well. And I hope you guys are following us through this. Now let's move on to the second extract from the book. Not all that Mrs. Bennet, however, with the assistance of her 5 daughters, could ask on this subject was sufficient to draw from her husband any satisfactory description of Mr. Bingley. They attacked him in various ways, with barefaced questions, ingenious suppositions, and distant surmises. But he eluded the skill of them all, and they were at least obliged to accept the second-hand intelligence of their neighbour, Lady Lucas. Her report was highly favourable. Sir William had been delighted with him. He was quite young, wonderfully handsome, extremely agreeable, and to crown the whole, he meant to be at the next assembly with a large party. Nothing could be more delightful. To be fond of dancing was a certain step towards falling in love, and very lively hopes of Mr. Bingley's heart were entertained. "If I can but see one of my daughters happily settled at Netherfield," said Miss Bennet to her husband, "and all the others equally well married, I shall have nothing to wish for." In a few days, Mr. Bingley returned Mr. Bennet's visit and sat about 10 minutes with him in his library. He had entertained hopes of being admitted to a sight of the young ladies, of whose beauty he had heard much, but he saw only the father. The ladies were somewhat more fortunate, for they had the advantages of ascertaining from an upper window that he wore a blue coat and rode a black horse. An invitation to dinner was soon afterwards dispatched, and already had Miss Bennet planned the courses that were to do credit to her housekeeping. When an answer arrived which deferred it all, Mr. Bingley was obliged to be in town the following day, and consequently unable to accept the honour of the invitation. And we come to an end of this session with a writing on the commandment that actually puts some light on the current status of the society that we thrive in. Pride and Prejudice is an 1830 novel of manners written by Jane Austen. The novel follows the character development of Elizabeth Bennet, the dynamic protagonist of the book, who learns about the repercussions of hasty judgments and comes to appreciate the difference between superficial goodness and actual goodness. Mr. Bennet, owner of the Longbourn estate in Hertfordshire, has 5 daughters, but his property is entailed and can only be passed to a male heir. His wife also lacks an inheritance, so his family faces becoming poor upon his death. Thus, it is imperative that at least one of the girls marry well to support the others, which is a motivation that drives the plot. Pride and Prejudice has consistently appeared near the top of the list of the most loved books among literary scholars and the reading public. It's available for a price of 250 rupees on Amazon.in. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe as we come to an end of this session. And thank you for sticking with me. It has been a very long time, but yes, I'll be more consistent with uploads. Stay tuned and keep enjoying books. A happy week ahead from my side. Cheers and namaste.